Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for Srimad Bhagavatam class. Let us start with the bhajan. Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiret Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhete Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Krishna Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. I hope I am audible. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, chapter number 2, chapter entitled Hiranyakashipu, King of the Demons, verse number 15. कैचित् खनित्रेर बिबिदुः सेतु प्राकार गोपुरान् आजीव्यान् पन्यः प्रदाहान् कारणाय एक प्रजानां ज्वलितोन्मुखेः Kashchit, some of the demons. There is some technical issues. Okay. Khanitraha with digging instruments. Bibidhu broke to pieces. Setu bridges. Prakar protective walls. Gopuran city gates. Ajivyan the sources of livelihoods. Sichiduhu cut down. Vrikshan trees. Kesit some. Parashu Panaya taking access in hand. Padahan burned down. Pradahan burned down. Saranani the dwellings. Eka other demons. Prajanam of the citizens. Jvalita blazing. Ulmukhe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Some of the demons took digging instruments and broke down the bridges, the protective walls, and the gates, gopuras, of the cities. Some took access and began cutting the important trees that produced mango, jackfruit, and other sources of food. Took firebrands and set fire to the residential quarters of the citizens. Purport: the cutting of trees is generally prohibited. In particular, trees that produce nice fruit for the maintenance of human society should not be cut. Any trees that produces nice fruit for maintenance of the people should not be cut at all. This is a Shastric injunction. Om Ajnanatimira चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्री राधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललितान् श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं ईश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, 7th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 15. Some of the demons took digging instruments and broke down the bridges, to protect the walls and the gates, gopuras of the cities. Some took access and began cutting the important trees that produce mango, jackfruit, and other sources of food. Some of the demons took firebrand and set fire to the residential quarters of the citizens. Kindly excuse me for technical glitches. So, this verse entitled Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons. In this specific verse, we see how Hiranyakashipu was very angry and furious when he came to know that his brother was killed. We know was stolen by brother of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, to the Rasatal in the ocean. And Brahmaji was confused that how we can again bring back the earth to him. What should be done? At that time, seeing the condition of all the living creatures and demigods, Lord himself appeared from the nose of Brahma. Initially, it was very small form, Varaha form, beautiful boar form, and from Varaha form, the small form, the Lord started to expand and position. And how did he took the earth to the natural position? With his tusk. So if you know the boar in the forest, not the boar in our cities, the forest boar, if you see, they have the tusk and they have. So with that tusk, he lifted the earth, because earth is such a huge planet, and brought the earth to its natural position. So sometimes the question is asked, why this Varaha? Through this Lila, Lord actually wanted to understand that all the living creatures are His creation, and even He can appear as a Varaha form in the family or in the boar body. So, to show His greatness, Lord appeared as boar. Second argument which is given is, if you see the Pancham, some important principles, sensory principles in the world. So the earth represents which principle? Earth represents the principle of Gandha, smell. Yes? Similarly, in the Shastra it is explained, the fire represents the principle of Rupa, vision. The principle of Sparsha. Water represents principle of taste. Yes, rasa. And ether or sky represents the principle of sound. So, because the boar has a very strong granindriyas, smelling senses, and it was necessary to find out the earth from Rasatal. So, in order to find out the earth very rapidly, Lord accepted this form. Strong smelling senses, He could find out the earth very easily, and then took the earth out from the Rasatal to its natural position. So during this, we see how Hiranyaksha, he opposed Lord, and there was a huge verses we have seen. He decided that I want to kill Vishnu. I want to kill him because he had killed my brother, and how he had given different arguments in the previous verses we have seen. And in attempt to kill Vishnu, how to kill the Vishnu? So Vishnu gets the power, he thinks, because of the demigods, and demigods get the power because of spiritual activities and the different rituals, yajnas. So destroy these places of spiritual activities. Yes, destroy. In this purport, we have seen in the translation, Srila Prabhupada explains, some of the demons took digging instruments. Now, Kechita is the word specifically used. So in the English there is only one demon, but in Sanskrit there are different words. Like one is Asura, then there is Daitya, then there is Rakshasa. So generally we consider all this like we see in the serials or somewhere we have heard Rakshasa means big teeth and very huge bodies and very aggressive looks. So they are considered Rakshasa. Yes. But these Asuras, they need not to look like very abominable or very furious kind of the personalities. They look like normal human beings. Like Ravana was not looking as a very ugly looking Rakshasa. Yes, he was from a Brahman family, very learned. Yes, but why he is called as Asura? Because he supreme personality of Godhead. They always challenge the existence of Lord. Yes, Daityas. So we know these Daityas and Devatas, Adityas, the children of Kashyapa Muni, all of them. So we knew how Kashyapa Muni got married with the daughters of Manu, Diti and Aditi. So these two were sisters, Diti and Aditi. Diti, both of them were married to Kashyapa Muni. So Diti was very envious for her sister. Yes, this envy is there in each and every living being, isn't it? Maybe they are males or females, animals, even children we see sometimes, isn't it? Envy is there, but especially if women are there, even though they are sisters, they are married to same person, we can see this kind of envy. So Diti was very envious. It was very envious for this is not the right time. She insisted and she begot children with the envy. And this envious, because of her envious thought, envious mind and envious approach, yes, she begot the children who are called as Daityas, Rakshasas. So they become enemies of their elder brothers. Actually, they are brothers, Daityas and Adityas, or Devatas or Daityas, they are brothers. But Daityas are envious of the Adityas or Devatas. So this is very important principle, especially is conceiving a child, her consciousness, lady and the man, their consciousness is very important, especially the consciousness of lady. So a lady has to maintain a spiritual consciousness. Chances of that child being a gentleman is there. But if she is envious, then definitely the child will have unwanted qualities. So in the Shastras, especially for the pregnant lady, it is told that she should be always positive in the spiritual activity. She should read Krishna or Bhagavatam, Shastras. She should do worship, always happy, not envious of anyone. She should eat very sattvic food, nutritious food, isn't it? So this is the science behind that. So Adityas are having good qualities, and Daityas they are envious. And Rakshasas, that is another category. So they were the creatures who live underwater, and then they eat anything and drink anything. So here it is mentioned that asuras were sent by Hiranyakashipu, set fire to the cities, villages, posturing grounds, cow pens, gardens, agricultural fields, natural forest, hermitage of the saintly persons, mines of valuable metals, residential quarters of the farmers, mountain villages of the cow protectors, cowherd men, and government capitals. So see, Hiranyakashipu was, even though he was demon, he was very intelligent, and he exactly knew what should be done to create the demonic rule in the world. If you observe the history of India, we can see that exactly this thing is repeated by all the people who came to India to loot India or to rule the this country India. Yes, to exploit the people. What does they do? They do the places of spiritual activities. So these two verses or this series of verses are very important, very interesting to understand the history of India. We have heard that he burned the Nalanda University. The library of the Nalanda University was burning for 4 months. Can you imagine? For 4 months something is burning. Yes? So what amount of books would have been there? 4 months the library was burning. So they exactly the literature, the shastras, the knowledge of the Indian culture or Vedic culture. If it is destroyed, if it is not passed to the future generations, we can rule them. Of India, Macaulay. After traveling throughout the India, he went back to England, and there it is noted, it is recorded. There he mentions that I have never seen such a beautiful country, such a wise man. There is no pope. They are self-sufficient. Yes, they are spiritually inclined. They are satisfied. They are courageous. So all the qualities of Indians or Vedic culture he explained there. And he mentions we cannot rule this country, Indian culture. So spiritual backbone of Indian culture was the important basis for existence of this country and beauty of the country. And systematically all the enemies of India who came to India in different era, different years, same thing. Destroy the culture, destroy temples, destroy libraries, destroy Vedic centers, Gurukul system. Yes. So what did the Britishers do? Before Britishers, India was having free of cost. No fees was there. They were taught free of cost by the teacher. Yes. So they were very much surprised that how these children are trained in the theory as well as practical aspect, practical knowledge, that to free of cost. Because of the free education, that sacrifice of the teacher came directly to the children, the students, and they become very selfless, very the knowledgeable with service attitude, good citizens, and they help each other. They help the country, and they destroyed this Gurukul system. They declared that these are illegal schools, these are not proper schools. Your education. So we are going to teach you modern education, modern science, and in that way they started their schools, paid education, and slowly they destroyed or they illegalized the Guria or the trespasser of India. What did they do? Especially the Muslim invaders, they destroyed the temples. Lakhs of temples were destroyed. Lakhs and lakhs of people were killed. Yes. Now we see that different in the Varanasi, the renovation was going on, and they dig the ground. They found hundreds of temples there underground, below the houses of people who were staying there, by destroying the temples. Also in Vrindavan, we see in recent year congregation mode. They were approaching with, or they were living in coexistence with the temple, and there was social gathering, there was social communication. So very systematically these invaders, they destroyed the culture. Another thing what Britishers do is they previously all the forest was free to graze the cows. Cow grazing was free. Later on, these Britishers, what they do, they said that these forests are government properties. You cannot enter the forest. Yes, they started cow slaughtering. So cows were becoming burden to the farmers. So very systematically, all these invaders, they tried to destroy the culture, the tradition. What the Hiranyakashipu did in this chapter, we can see the things. Same things are repeated by the invaders of India. Yes. So saintly person, hermitage, forest, and here in this verse it is explained trees. Yes, especially the more importance is given that Asuras, they destroyed the bridges, cities, gates of the cities, capitals, peoples, and trees, especially the fruit bearing trees. So forest and trees, they play a very important role. Yes, because the trees and forest, they teach us coexistence with the nature. Only if you go to the villages, you can understand how to coexist with the nature. And trees are very important to give the forest its existence. Yes. Somehow in the name of the modernization, now we can see the trees are cutting down very systematically. In the previous demonic, we can see governments, we can see that they planted the tree by the government agencies who were foreign trees. Sarkari paid. It is called Sarkari paid. So these Sarkari paid or foreign trees who were imported, they only can produce the wood, no fruits, no flowers, and this. So my teacher says that this biodiversity is a very important aspect. So what is biodiversity? Different living creatures live together. Yes, different living creatures live together. So in the biodiversity, the Indian trees like the mango tree, the banyan tree, yes, the jackfruit tree, so they can accommodate different creatures, birds, insects, yes, animals. So the monkeys, isn't it, squirrels, so they all can live together with the tree. But these western trees who are not Indian trees does not allow other living creatures to live with them. So they are destroying the biodiversity, and this was very systematically done. Forests were cut down to increase the industrialization or to increase the modernization, and the Indian trees were cut down and foreign trees were planted. Yes, this was done previously also by Hiranyakashipu, and now also the demonic government does do this kind of things. Destroy the places of spiritual strength. So forest, the cows, the spirituality is the backbone of every culture. And that backbone was destroyed. And the demons want to destroy the backbone so that they can defeat. Yes. So ancient demons and modern demons, they have same intentions. And they does the same thing, but in a different way. Yes. So it is very important to understand the importance of trees. Kirtaniya Sadari. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very wonderfully explains this word, that we should be humble like grass and tolerant like a tree. And we should not expect any respect and always give respect to others. Now this is one of the very highest spiritual principles, that always give respect and don't expect any respect for oneself. Pass the urine, you pass the stool on the grass. Yes, whatever you want to do, you do with the grass. It will not complain. Yes, be humble. Yes. Similarly, trees are very tolerant. Yes, they stand in the sun and give shadows. Yes, actually, tree is very interesting. It gives the opposite thing. It takes up. If you throw the stone, it will give the fruit. Yes, so tree behaves very wonderfully. Yes, whatever whatever torture you do with the tree, it will always tolerate, and it will give opposite to you. Yes, so it bears hotness and gives coolness. It bears the stone, gives the fruit. It takes up carbon dioxide pollution. The same shaft made up of the tree, and the tree was cut half, and he wanted to rest. So he rested in the same shadow. Still the tree tolerated. Yes, it is not that tree was very angry and yes, it was not ready to give the shadow. That is not the nature of tree. So tree always tolerates. So these trees plays very important role. Very important trees, because they produce the fruits which are the nature's best and animals. Yes, the food has perfect sugar, fructose sugar, which is very healthy. Yes, it has antioxidants into it. It has multivitamins. Antioxidants plays a role in removing the free radicals, bring the health to the people in general. Yes, so that's why in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, "Patram me bhaktya prechati." You can offer me the leaf, water, fruit, and flower with love. I will accept it. Yes, so fruits are very important, and yes, so when the people were living with the nature, in the nature, they understand how to live along with the reptiles, even snakes, domestic animals like dogs, cats, cows, bulls, buffaloes. even with wild animals like fox, wolf, tigers, panthers. Distance. Modern way of living is we want to live alone. We want to enjoy. Yes, it is not like that. We have to learn to live with the nature. We have to learn to live with all the living entities. They are all parts and parts of Krishna. That's why in our Vedic culture, the term is Vasudeva Kutumba is given for cows. The second roti is given for Lord. It is, and from next rotis the humans eat, and the last roti is kept for the dog who is there in the farm or in the nearby vicinity of the house. So in the Vedic culture, all the living beings were coordinate the coexistence, how to coexist. So trees teach us that very important aspect. Yes. In the past years, for few years, a study was done in the Maharashtra, in Vidarbha and Marathwada. Many farmers committed suicide, and the study was done, and it was found out that the suicide they were also suffering, but some farmers committed suicide, other farmers they didn't. So a study was conducted, and then it was found out that those farmers who committed suicide, many of them they sold their animals, cows or buffaloes, especially cows. Place whenever a cow or any other animal is there. So whenever a birth is there, every year the cow is giving birth to offspring. So that birth, the development of that child, the small cow or bull, so that created an atmosphere where a hope, yes, and why he become hopelessness to commit the suicide or frustrated to commit the, because there is no future. He thinks that there is no future, so there is no positivity. And whenever a cow is there in the home, it will not allow a family to undergo negativity. It will always create a positive vibrations around. More of whenever we come in contact with the nature, the forest or cows or trees or a hermitage, temple, our sattvic nature is revived, or we get sattvic guna. The sattvic guna is very important. Whenever a person, yes, so demons want to imbibe rajoguna and tamoguna. Yes, and the demonic society or demonic government or invaders, they also try to destroy sattva and tamoguna more and more. If you see the so modern civilization tries to bring the tamasic and rajasic activities, destroy the sattvic activities, and spiritual it induce you the places which are very important to increase spirituality are there. That places should be destroyed. That was the order of Hiranyakashipu. Yes, so demon follow this, and the sattvic people or devotees want to protect. Automatically, will become good citizens. So governance becomes easy. If the people are sattvic, governance is very easy. Srila Prabhupada proved this with food distribution, prasad distribution in the Western country, in one of the city, where the crime rate was decreased because the Parikshit Maharaj, when Kali Yuga entered the kingdom of Parikshit Maharaj initially given 4 places to live for the Kali Yuga, where the meat eating is there, gambling is there, sex is there, illicit sex, and intoxication is there, personified. And he protected the spiritual places, and he curbed or he controlled these places of illicit activities or pop or this. When the Kali Yuga started, Parikshit Maharaj was so efficient. He doesn't allow the demonic kind of activities in his kingdom. So that is the duty of government and all the duties and all the citizens to see that the spiritual activities are protected, they are encouraged. You can understand that this spiritual civilization or culture is very important to coexist, to live happily in the universe, in this world. And these principles which is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, if you protect the trees, if you protect the temples, the sadhus, the spiritual assembly, then definitely the society in general and the people in general will get benefit. So from this verse we can understand and how we should try to protect the things which will help to increase the spirituality.